Hey guys, we got a great visit today. It's going to be with Josh Rinkel of the Po Ramblin Boys, Grammy-nominated, IBMA award-winning bluegrass band. He's a great songwriter. He's got his own signature guitar. Has really put in the work, and he's a fun guy. We're going to have a nice conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Thank y'all so much. What do you say, Josh Rinkel?
What's happening, Josh Mitchell?
The two Joshes collide.
That's right. We're here.
So, are you at home today?
I am. I'm at home in Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Let's say good old Kentucky boy there, at
Yes.
home with grandma, and
Yeah.
she's over off camera somewhere. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll get her come and say hi.
We can
Uh,
do.
but no, man, this is Josh Rinkel. He's one of the founding members of Po Ramblin Boys.
Yep.
Uh, Fantastic bluegrass group. Friends of mine, friends of the guys that I played music with, and uh, and I don't know. I just think people take for granted sometimes how badass you all really are.
Well, thanks, man. I
I'm
appreciate
I'm sure the
it.
people at home are like, whatever, Josh. You and your little bluegrass band.
Yeah.
You're
We
you're never famous in Shepherdsville, so
oh my God, I know it. We can't all be that one guy who's got a day named after him.
yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I'll interview him someday too. I'll ask him about it.
If he
Um,
has time.
so we met, I guess, probably. I mean, you've known Paul for a long time, but
Oh yeah.
you and I met probably in Gatlinburg when we were doing some of the old Smoky stuff.
Yeah, either that
Oh, we
or
were at Sugarland.
yeah, I seen y'all at Sugarland. And then I come to see y'all at that bar one night in Louisville. It was the first time me and you really talked, like sat down and talked.
I don't remember.
I can't remember the name of it.
But we've known each other now for going on 10 years, probably 8 years.
Yeah.
Uh, and in that time, man, you all have just went from like, obviously, well, let's just start about how it all kind of started. Like,
Yeah.
we saw you guys in Gatlinburg because that's where you guys were cutting your teeth, like, and really putting in the time.
Mm-hmm. We so well a little bit before that. So I met Jeremy when I was 12 or 13, something like that, and
He's
started
talking about
taking
Jeremy Brown.
yeah, Jeremy Brown, our banjo player, started taking banjo lessons from him. And I was actually they did him and his dad didn't officially give banjo lessons, so I would just travel on the road with him. They had a family band and played quite a few bluegrass festivals throughout the year. And since they traveled as a family, they had a tour bus that way everybody could be comfortable and be together. So I would just go with them on the bus and just kind of mess around with the banjo. In exchange, I would carry help carry their gear,
There you go.
what little bit of gear they had. And
And you got the fever.
and then I got the fever. That's right. When I started traveling with them, I didn't know a thing about bluegrass. I didn't. I was into rap and I was into '90s country.
Oh,
I didn't
just
know.
man, you could have been a Jelly Roll.
Oh my God! I got confused for Jelly Roll at a private event at the Country Music Hall of Fame a couple months ago, and that was
Yeah, you you're looking great, and there's no way that you could be confused with Jelly Roll. You've
that's
really
all right. My mom loves Jelly Roll, so I took it. Uh, but so then a few years after that, we ran into this guy named CJ, who's the mandolin player for the Po Ramblin Boys. We ran into him in 2008, and he ended up he lived in Missouri. Well, he wanted to be closer to the music scene, so he moved to Kentucky. Ended up moving to Shepherdsville because I was one of the only people he really knew in the area. And so we started playing. I was on the road with Tommy, Jeremy's dad. He was on the road with his own band and Carl Shiflett.
okay.
And any off time we had, we were going to open jams. We were booking little dive bars to play. We played under the name Floyd Fork Ramblers for a little bit. We played under the name 33 and a third
I like that.
for a minute. And like I said, man, we were just playing anyway. Anywhere. We played the McQuady Fire Department.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That's
they
Brett County stuff right there.
yeah they used to have Breckenridge Bluegrass Association would have a monthly concert at the McQuady Fire Department. We played there. We played just anywhere, man. We'd go down to the Rosine Barn and sign up. Is they had an open mic thing where bands could sign up for like a 3 song slot. Well, then CJ ended up moving to Gatlinburg because he heard about this program down there that the city paid musicians to play on the street. And it was a very themed thing. You had to have a band name that was themed in like the mountainous type stuff, and
Yeah.
you had to wear bib overalls and straw
I mean,
hats.
it'd be like going to Disney World and you got
Yeah, yeah.
like people walking
They
down the streets.
they didn't quite want you to act like goofy hillbillies. They wanted it to be an authentic representation of Appalachia.
Okay.
They didn't want us to have like straw hanging out of our mouth and a straw hat that had been ripped open on the top
Yeah.
like corn. So, anyways, he was doing that for a while, and he ended up picking up swing shifts at Old Smoky, um, where the bands at that time played 10 hours at a time, and then there would be like a duo or a trio that would come in and play on their 15-minute. They play 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off from noon to 10 p.m.
See, that's what blows my mind. You know,
Yeah.
because for us, when Jericho Woods was playing, the 4 hour gig was the killer, right? I can't
Oh yeah.
imagine a 10 hour gig.
Yeah. But so he was doing like the swing shift. He was playing the 15 minutes off with a duo that he just started calling the Po Ramblin Boys, and it was always him and someone else, you know. So a friend of ours had actually wrote a song called Po Ramblin Boy, and that's what he named his little duo after. Well, then a band one of the Old Smoky bands had to go away. It wasn't nothing bad. Their leader got in a really bad car wreck and
Okay.
so they had to disband because the leader couldn't do it. Well, then they called on CJ and asked CJ if he would be interested in putting together a band for, the full shift. So he called me. He knew I was wanting to get out of the work situation I was in. I come down, I played a couple weeks, and we had this banjo player that had to go back home to Ohio for the summer. So we called Jeremy and we were like, "Hey Jeremy, just come down, see if you like it." Jeremy come down. I think he called his boss the next day up in Kentucky and quit his job.
Yeah, I really like it down here.
Yeah. We had a bass player that was still in high school, and summer vacation was over, so he was a local kid in Gatlinburg. He had to go back to high school. Uh, so we knew of this guy that actually worked in the retail side of O'Smoky that played bass. We knew him because we were all trying to get with his sister at one time or another.
Ah,
And he actually asked, he knew that Nate, the one kid, had to quit to go back to high school. So he actually approached us and asked if he could try out. And we tried him out on one of those 10-hour shifts. And that was his,
you
what
cut that.
yeah. So at the end of the night, we asked him if he wanted the gig, and he done the same thing. He walked into the retail side of O'Smoky and quit his job, and that was it, man. That's how we got started. We played 10 hours on Sunday and Mondays, and then on Tuesday through Thursday we'd play 5 hour shifts, and then on Fridays and Saturdays we were all on the road with our bands that we toured with.
That's crazy.
So I think whenever I first moved down there, I went like 90 something days straight without having a day off between touring with Tommy and playing on stage at Old Smoke.
But they always talk about the 10,000 hours, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like you want to get good at something, you just do it every day and do it every day for multiple hours and see what happens.
We don't, man. And a lot of days it would actually make you a worse player because it would just become so monotonous that you just go on autopilot, and it sucked the passion out of it. I'm a songwriter at heart. I would sing a song that I wrote and people wouldn't give a shit about it. And then we'd play Wagon Wheel and people would lose their freaking minds.
You had to pay the bills though.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just saying that was just some days. We had a lot of great days down there.
So what was the point where you all were like, all right, we're better than playing here as a tourist attraction? When did you
Yeah.
start touring?
Well, there wasn't a point when that, like when it occurred to us, it occurred to other people first. We
Okay.
started getting phone calls and we turned a lot of stuff down. And the first one that we didn't turn down was a trip to Canada, immediately followed by an 11-day trip to Europe. And we done that just because it was like an opportunity. You
Yeah.
know, I'd never been to Canada or Europe, and so had not a lot of the other three guys. Jasper had actually been to Canada and Spain before, but me, Jeremy,
He seems
and
like a really cosmopolitan kind of guy.
oh yeah, actually, CJ had been to Europe before. Me and Jeremy hadn't been, but it was like
Huh.
our chance. That was a big deal to go to Europe and
Hell
to
yeah.
go as our own thing and not on someone else's side man.
Right.
So we jumped on it, and the money wasn't that good, but like I said, it was an opportunity thing. And when we got done doing that, we seen the crowd reactions and stuff, and we didn't realize people were starving for that kind of bluegrass. So
To explain to the people who are watching this now and haven't listened yet, uh, first of all, shame on you. But second of all, like you guys, you know, I want to say you have a modern sensibility, but you're playing real traditional stuff.
yeah, so
Because Billy Strings is out there, he's taking it apart, and putting it back together,
yep,
and going out into outer space, and that is
yep.
definitely bringing a lot of attention to bluegrass. But you guys are doing it like you're doing it proud. I feel like.
Yeah, so starting out, we were like hardcore traditional 1940s, 1950s bluegrass, almost like a throwback
Okay.
type thing. And 10 years goes by. Like I said, I do a lot of songwriting. We all have other influences besides just bluegrass. Jasper's a diehard Merle Haggard fan. I listen to a lot of like Americana stuff, what people call Americana.
That ain't no
You
part of nothing.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite writers is Jason Isbell. So
Yeah.
I try to like, I'm not gonna say I try to channel him, but I try to, you know, write in that vein some.
I mean, well, look,
But
it affects you. You're still writing your stuff, but
yeah,
it adds flavors and textures, maybe.
well, yeah, and just listening to other writers, I realized I don't have to write three verses with a chorus that repeats every single time. That's about a girl waiting in a cabin on a mountain,
I
and has like a
mean, because there's
guitar.
plenty of those you can sing if you want.
Yeah, has
Well,
little in every other word.
and we can just go ahead and talk about it. Your new record, uh, "Wonders Like Me." Like it kind of goes all over the place. I feel like there's some that kind of like waltzy, like traditional country sounding stuff. Uh, the break on the end of on Old Santa Fe, kind of the outro on that.
Oh yeah,
That was killer. Like that kind of
yeah,
reminded me of like Marty Stewart or something at the end. Just
yeah.
I feel like you're taking the traditional thing and you're not compromising it,
Yeah, we're
but it sounds like it got written this year instead of 50 years
yeah,
ago.
we're trying to see how far we can. I'm not gonna say how far we can push traditional sound, but we're trying to see how like current we can make traditional sound. You don't have to play traditional bluegrass. You don't have to strictly be a 1950s throwback band.
Right.
You know
I
what I
agree.
mean? We're playing stuff that is in our heart and it's relevant to us, and
Well,
it's
and let's face it, a lot of bluegrass people are cover artists.
oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, that all they do is play Ralph and
Yep,
uh, or they play Bill Monroe and that's it. And I
yep,
think what's neat about you all is it still sounds like that. But it's so up to date. I feel like as
yep.
far as and it sounds good. And I love your cover art. Did y'all
Oh
commission
yeah.
that?
No, so that's actually the cover art for the album is actually painted by Jasper's great grandfather.
Really?
Jasper's great grandfather was a very well known frontier artist.
Oh man.
He was born in 1900 up in North Dakota, so it was still very much the frontier. And he just painted things that he's seen growing up. So a lot of Native American stuff, buffalo, antelope, trains.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "That's awesome. It's
Yeah. So
badass."
yeah, so I'll throw that out. Look him up. You can still buy his prints. There's a
Okay.
book about him. Henry Lorenzen, Lorentzen. I don't know the website right offhand, but there is a website that has tons of.
I may have to add a Henry Lorenzen to my wall behind me.
Oh yeah, we've got a few hanging up here in the house. But
I
I
will
love.
say that my officially autographed Po Ramblin Boys print is in the house. It's not in the shop.
There you go.
It's right. It's prominently displayed in my house. So,
Yeah,
um, so you kind of had a little health scare,
yeah. That
which
was
is
wild.
hilarious. Since you didn't die, it's hilarious.
It is freaking hilarious. I actually man, I don't. It's a serious thing because a skunk saved my life. And I know that sounds messed up, but a skunk saved my life. Like,
Because you got bit, right?
no, it's even funnier than that. It's I was on a hunting trip with a group of guys and we were camping off grid, like we weren't in a campground. We didn't have electric, we didn't have water. We were backcountry camping and we were cooking over the fire. We didn't want to bring a grill. We wanted to cook in a skillet over a fire. And I just sat the skillet down next to the fire each night because I knew we were going to use it again for breakfast.
Okay.
Well, woke up one morning and the skillet was cleaned out as if I would have washed it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm particular about my cast iron, so
Yes, I know. I know.
yeah, it was cleaned out as if I was at home and washed it.
Which is against the rules. It's a sin.
Well, yeah, but I was like, well, that's odd. It must have rained last night.
You never thought some
Yeah,
varmint has come and
I just threw it back on the fire, and we loaded it up with bacon. It was breakfast time, and next night, same thing. The damn skillet was clean. I was like, well, maybe I was drinking last night. Maybe I cleaned it out. Hell, I don't know. Maybe one of the other guys cleaned it out. So the last night of the trip, we didn't all go. We didn't do an evening hunt because we were just gonna sit around, have some BS time, wake up early the next morning and pack out. So we were all sitting in a circle around the fire, and this damn skunk comes just trotting up right amongst all of us and starts eating out of that skillet.
looking for the damn skillet.
Yeah. And I thought, son of a bitch, man. That's what's been cleaning this skillet every night. And I didn't think, hell, we thought it was funny. Well, 5 days later, we're all sick as hell. I mean, like sick, like body aches that I've never experienced before, fever swings, like laying in bed, sweating so bad that I've got layers of towels down on my bed and I'm just drenched through to the mattress. And then, but shivering at the same time. And it was miserable. And I missed several shows. Jasper had the same thing. Somehow he went and played the shows. I don't know. I couldn't keep food down. I lost like 15 pounds in 5 days because I was just vomiting so much and couldn't keep food down. And as soon as I started getting over it, I was like, well, I'm gonna get up and walk around some. Like I couldn't hold myself up to go to the bathroom, man. That's how weak I was.
Was it like a
So it was a virus from the skunk called leptosporiosis or something.
you're a leper?
Leptosporo, yeah. So actually, when you take your dog to the vet to get them their puppy shots, they get a lepto shot.
Okay.
Just as an example to tie all this back in. Uh, but anyways, I was like, I got to regain some of my strength. So I started trying to walk, and I was like super short of air, couldn't breathe. And I was like, whatever. I can't breathe because I'm so weak, and I'm overweight and all this and that, and like I couldn't even hold myself up. man. I couldn't do nothing. So I go to the, and I went
Josh
to
is a big guy. You're like 6'5", like
yeah, and several 100 pounds. I'll just say that. Go to the emergency room. They don't know what's wrong with me. Go through all that stuff, and then I finally have a spot show up on my leg that looks like a bruise, but I know I didn't get bruised. Well, I go to the emergency room, and they're like, "That's a blood clot." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So they put me on some blood thinners, send me home. By the time I get home, I'm so short of air that like I feel like I have socks shoved in my mouth and someone's holding my nose. And so my dad sees the shape that I'm in. He calls an ambulance and they rush me into the hospital and I had multiple blood clots in both lungs. And that it was a wake up call, man, because when I got to the hospital, they told me there were still like COVID restrictions on how many people could be in the hospital. This
right.
is 2022.
Yeah.
So it's well after COVID, but there's still restrictions on stuff. Only allowed one other person in the hospital room. They told me I needed to call any immediate family that wanted to be there. They let me have. I had 4 people in the emergency room with me, so that was terrifying. And right before that, right at the around the time of that hunting trip, I'd actually decided again to quit drinking, and it was like my millionth attempt at giving up drinking, and I was way overweight. I ain't gonna lie, I was 510 pounds. Uh,
That's a load.
I was like consumed with depression,
Kind of a
suicidal.
cycle, and you couldn't.
Yeah, like crazy consumed with depression, man, like drowning in it. And actually like when they told me in that hospital bed that I needed to get all my family in there, that's it just flipped a switch. I was like, I want as much as I thought I wanted to die just several days ago, I want to live. And since then, I'm a month away from being 2 years sober. I've lost 100 pounds. I'm getting married next year,
Oh yeah.
buying a house next month. So just like I said, that damn skunk, man, it saved my life.
You need a tattoo of a skunk somewhere.
I know it. Yeah, that's good.
Uh,
Yeah,
well, I'm glad you're still alive. Um, you're one of my favorite writers. I've actually cut one of your songs. We kind of co-wrote it. You sent it to me, and I hijacked it.
yeah. Well, that was the plan, though. It was out of my realm, man, and I knew you could take it where it needed to go. So one of these
Um,
days we're gonna for real right.
what we need to do is I need to take my songs that would work, and we need to do a damn bluegrass recording of those songs.
There you go. That'd be
That would
cool.
be fun. But yeah,
Yeah,
we need to write some more. We did. I can put my weirdo spin on some of your traditional stuff.
there you go.
Well, so before y'all played the Ramble. When was that? In 22?
So yeah, it
I
was
think it
20.
was. It was Derby Oaks Day of 22. Y'all had just come off of your record before that being considered for a Grammy.
Yeah,
Like, how badass is that?
that was pretty surreal, man. I remember getting the phone call. Actually, CJ just sent a screenshot of the nomination list and had our name circled, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Because IBMA is one thing. Like,
Yeah,
you understand, and for the people that don't know, they've been nominated for Entertainer of the Year and Song of the Year and all sorts of stuff from IBMA. But the Grammys is a whole other deal.
yeah, it's a total different ball game, man, and it's always great to be nominated for anything across the board, But to be nominated for a Grammy is just something that first off we never seen it coming. Uh, it's something we totally didn't expect. It's something we
Yeah, it
weren't even
makes it even
doing
better.
before.
It
Yeah,
makes it even better because it's not like you were like, we're really gonna push for this
yeah,
record for
yeah.
consideration or
Well,
whatever.
yeah. Whenever you make a record now, it's like, all right, we need to, try and get this guy to do this on it because he has voting pool and all this and that, and we've never been one of those bands that tries to tailor our record for awards, but when it comes to the Grammys, it's like we're proud of this record and we want a damn Grammy.
Yeah.
You know? But on that record, man, we wasn't even on our radar. We were still green. It was only our second record, the third record we'd made, and it was just we weren't even shooting for it.
But you went to California, like you did the
Yep.
whole thing, right?
Yeah, we done the whole thing. We went to LA. We walked the red carpet. You know, we know Tyler Childers. He was there, so we got to hang out with him for a minute on the red carpet. It was pretty cool. Uh,
And if you've never seen these guys, like they are the best dressed bluegrass band in the whole damn world.
yeah,
They got the open roads,
yeah,
tilted to the side.
we
CJ's
always
always got some glitter on.
look at each other and we say, "Is my hat crooked enough?"
It's got to just barely sit.
Yeah. So yeah, we do it up, man, and we were definitely an oddity on the red carpet that day. Like people were coming up to us trying to figure out who the hell we were and why we were there, and we let them know, but we didn't end up taking it home, which was fine. A good friend of ours, Michael Cleveland, ended up taking it home, and I actually sat next to him on the airplane back to Louisville that day, so we had a lot of fun conversation. Mike had actually gone and played the fiddle for us quite a few times
Yeah.
before we had a fiddle
It's
player.
a super small little community.
Yeah, it is, man. We were he deserved it. Everybody that was nominated deserved it, you know.
You think this next one is you think it's going to be on there?
Man, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I don't know. I think we have a good chance. But for me, this record is I'm more proud of this record than anything I've ever done in my life.
How many did you write on this one?
I wrote 7 out of 10 songs on this one, wrote and co-wrote. I think 4 of them were just me and 3 of them were co-writes. But this record, Wonders Like Me, is more us. I think it captures who we are and what we're trying to do better than anything we've ever done.
Oh, and like every song, like like Jeremy has a song, CJ's got a couple songs, you got a song, Laura's got a song. Like it shows the whole range of what you're all capable of doing.
Yeah. And we didn't even know it when we were putting it together, but every single song is about people's internal struggle with wandering. Every single song is about the urge to wander or the urge to get home or something. And we didn't realize that when we were putting it together. And then we just seen, we were trying to figure out a title track and we were like, Wanderers Like Me. That's, that encompasses the whole entire thing.
And then you all scheduled with a psychiatrist to deal with
Yeah.
with all of your attachment disorders and
Yeah.
it is it's hard to not. I don't know. I used to always tell people, and I said this at another podcast, but I always drove home a lot faster than I
Yeah.
drove.
For sure, man. Well, if you look at it, not to get like too philosophical on you or anything, but if you look at the history of the world, we're in a point in human history that's like that big where people settle.
Yeah.
People have always been nomadic. That's why people, thousands of years ago would build ships out of trees and set off into the ocean, not knowing if they were
Yeah.
even going to find something on the other side. That's why people crossed, from Asia over into, up there and North America.
China and Russia and
Yeah, they didn't know what was over here. They didn't know if a freaking monster was going to eat them. They just knew that something inside of them told them that they needed to go there.
and now you can't get people out of their damn house.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like humans, I think a lot of us are still wired that way.
I mean, I am, and I don't get to tour hardly any at all anymore. But
yeah,
but you're still like I still feel like you have that desire of like what's next, like what's the next thing, like what's the next chapter, and maybe that's an artist mindset, and maybe that's our real affliction.
mm-hmm. I always tell Laura all the time. I was like, whenever I'm done with this music thing, like you're not going to be able to get me to go anywhere. And she just rolls her eyes and she's like, when we have a 3-day break, you're itching to go again. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
Well, and if you are home, you're going coon hunting. So
yeah.
don't feed me that line. You're not going to be at the house. Um, so you play at the Opry all the time. Like, yeah, to me, I hate all of y'all that have played the Grand Ole Opry because everybody that played around me had got to play but me. So screw you
Yeah.
guys. But what is like the best? Like, what's your favorite venue that you've got to play?
Oh man. Well, the Opry is a given. Uh, but aside from the Opry's just magical, man. It's just you can just feel it in the air there. You walk around backstage and it's just surreal. But so I'm not gonna mention that one because that's at the top.
Yeah,
So right underneath of it is we played Telluride this year for the first time, and man,
just
I
beautiful and
I've always heard the hype about Telluride, and I know that pretty much anywhere in Colorado is a magical place west of Denver.
yeah,
East of Denver, it's just the
desert.
west part of Nebraska.
Yeah, yeah,
But stand on that stage, man, and you see why like Sam Bush fell in love with that place. There's been 51 Tellurides, and he's been at 50 of them. And you just standing on that stage, and you look out, and you see like just an ocean of people that are like love music and love each other, and they're happy to be there. And then you
yeah.
look behind them, and you see those mountains, and it's just unreal.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So something else that's amazing is, in a testament to the amount of work that you put in, is that you have your own signature guitar, which
Oh yeah.
which is also badass.
Yeah.
Gallagher guitars.
Gallagher Guitars. I just found out that this week on Gallagher Guitars social media, it's Wrinkle Week.
Oh,
So
that's every day with me. I don't iron, so it's always wrinkly.
several months ago, I went down there and we filmed all kinds of crazy, goofy videos for their social media. And I guess this week is the week they're putting them all out. So,
That's awesome.
and I don't know when this podcast comes out, but if it
It'll be a
comes,
couple weeks, but
okay.
it's always wrinkle week around here, buddy.
There you go. Well, you can go back a few weeks in the social media world and find Wrinkle Week. But yeah, Gallagher guitars, man. I was playing Thompson guitars out of Oregon, which for anyone that's familiar with Billy Strings, that's like his main axe is a Thompson. And I love my Thompson guitars, and I love the people at Thompson and the relationships that we had. Uh, CJ bought a Gallagher, and I was needing a backup guitar for the road. And I was like, well, I'll call these guys at Gallagher. David Mathis at Gallagher is probably the nicest person I've ever met in my entire life.
Is
And
that the
that's
guy that
just,
was in the picture you sent me?
uh, dude, I don't know. I don't remember what picture I sent you.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Uh, so I called him up and I said, hey, I want to come to the shop and I want to sit down. I've never truly built like a customized guitar. I've had guitars that I've bought that are close to what I, envisioned that I wanted if I had a custom guitar. So, but I've never actually sat down and like gone through a sheet of paper and wrote it all out and
I want
said,
the
here.
braces here. I want
Yeah.
this shape. This
Yeah. So I went down there to Murfreesboro and we sat down, we went through it all, and he built it and I got it. I freaking loved it, man. I liked it a lot. And I started playing it. I started playing it more and more. And I was just joking around with him one day because he was saying that like it's so unique and so different from any guitar that they have in their line. And so I was just like, well, you ought to build more of them. You ought to just make it the Jug signature. He just kind of tilted his head and, huh, we could do that. And I was like, whoa. I was just kidding. Y'all are, Gallagher's a big deal.
yeah.
A huge history. Doc Watson was the face of Gallagher for a long time, and I mean, they're not known like Martin Guitar, but in like this real small niche market. I'm not saying that word right. I never could. Niche,
That was close. That was close.
niche market.
Yes.
They're kind of a big deal, you know?
Yeah. Well, and let's face it, like if you know who Doc Watson is, then you probably know what kind of
Yeah,
guitar he played.
exactly. So I don't know, I was blown away, man. So they started whipping them up, and we made a few changes as they come out, and finally got them dialed into to what I wanted. And the changes were just cosmetic stuff. Like I wanted the back and sides to be so dark that you couldn't see the wood grain, which their finish guy hates that because it takes a lot of buffing to not show scratches. But I love it, man. I have two of them that I carry on the road with me. We've sold a handful. There's some at different shops. Like I know there's one at the Fretted Buffalo in Buffalo, New York. I know there's one at the Music Outlet in Sevierville, Tennessee. There was one at this high end guitar shop in Atlanta. I can't remember the name. Righteous Guitars in Atlanta, but they actually just sold it. But
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, I love it, man. I think one would look good there at Josh Mitchum's house.
You're damn right it would. You got like a code, friends and family code.
Just I can maybe.
uh,
Yeah, they're
so,
reasonable folks.
huh?
I said they're reasonable folks. They'd
Yeah,
work with.
see, like I said, maybe I work out a little sponsorship on the podcast.
There you go.
So, what's next, man? Like, I know you're touring this record right now, uh, but like, what's the long view? Like, what? I know you said you told Laura when you're done, but
Yeah,
are you? But listen, I'm out there. I'm seeing Peter and all these guys that are in
yeah.
their 70s and 80s that are still playing. So,
Well, just to be honest with you, man, I told Laura whenever the Po Ramblin Boys end, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore. And I'll still write. I'll still go out and perform like solo and duo stuff. But as far as being a part of a band or just going and being a sideman in a band, I just don't want to do it. I don't know why I don't want to do it. I still love doing it. Don't get me wrong. I
right.
love
But if it's
like
not them, you're out.
yeah. It's just something about that. It's you
Listen,
know
I had multiple opportunities, and I'm not, and I don't care to say it, where I was in a band and a manager or somebody would say, "Hey, this would be a whole lot easier if it was just you."
yeah,
But I'm like, I love being in a band. Like
yeah. Well,
it's
that's the thing, man. We've worked our asses off, and we have a special thing that we've created. You know, the five of us, and I love it, and I don't want to. I just don't want to do it with anybody else.
and it's so neat because you all are like all these different characters, but the thread goes through all of you. It
Yeah,
all makes sense.
yeah. I don't. We've yeah. I don't know. We have a very interesting band dynamic. We're all best friends. We all fight a lot. We all love each other a lot. And I know I wouldn't have that with other bands. It might be easier being in other bands. It might be harder being in other bands, but this is the band that I want to be known for being in. And like I said, I'll pursue maybe like just a solo thing, doing small shows to just to be able to perform my original stuff. And I don't want to go chasing being famous after the Po Ramblin Boys.
I hear you. You'll be famous forever, Jug.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, I'm so tickled that you took some time with me today. You're one of my favorite dudes of all time. You all were so nice to us early on when we were playing and didn't really have anywhere to go, and supported us, and it it just makes me so proud to see what you all have accomplished, and again, I feel like what's still ahead of you. You better not hang it up anytime soon.
Oh
Uh,
no. No, that's way down the road. Yeah.
but I just think you all kind of, to me, are the gold standard right now in bluegrass, and uh, and are actually trying to push it forward. Um, and I think people who listen to bluegrass will appreciate that. And if you all haven't listened to it yet, Wanderers Like Me, it's out, it's available everywhere. Can you get it on vinyl?
Yeah, we've actually got it on we've got it on the standard black vinyl, and then we've got a limited edition color vinyl, which is a translucent turquoise that kind of
Man,
matches.
I may have to get me a translucent turquoise one. I may have to order that on the interwebs here after a while.
There you go.
As long as you can make sure that everybody signs it for me.
Oh, we can do that.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Josh Rinkel, member of the Po Ramblin Boys. Be looking for their record. Be looking for them to come play. I know they're going to be at Vine Grove in September. Where else y'all going to be here in the next little bit, next month or so?
So we're gonna be in Virginia this weekend, or well, it'll be over by the time this comes out. So like late September, we'll be at the Fried Chicken Festival in London, Kentucky.
Nice. Finger looking good.
Yeah, Vine Grove Bluegrass Festival. Cool. We'll be performing at the IBMA Awards in Raleigh, North Carolina. We'll be middle of September. We'll be Flagstaff, Arizona, Picking in the Pines, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a huge bluegrass festival out there.
Everybody can go to poramblinboys.com and
the PoRamblinBoys.com. Check it out.
Go to Gallagher Guitars and order your Josh Rinkel custom. And as always, go to the website, order merch. Keep the guys on the road. That's gas money and all that kind of stuff. Get you a t-shirt and
follow us on Instagram. We're trying to hit 10,000 followers for our 10-year anniversary.
All right, there we go. That's a good theme.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you're not following these guys on Instagram, let's do that. Josh, thank you so much. Give your fiance a big kiss for me and a hug on the neck. And I look forward to seeing y'all down the road. Maybe we'll get you back to Ramble sometime soon.
That'd be great, man.
All right, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh.
Good luck to you all.
See you.